Let's talk about dangling and misplaced modifiers and how to recognize and avoid them. In academic writing, we cannot always write the way we speak, and when we do, that's when dangling and misplaced modifiers often occur. To understand how to use them, we first need to make sure we know what a phrase is. A phrase includes a noun, but it may not have a clear subject or verb. That can appear in the form of a gerund phrase or a past participle adjective phrase. So what actually is a gerund? When we take a verb in its ing form and put it at the start of a phrase, it becomes a noun instead of a verb. For example, in this sentence, living is the gerund that acts like a noun. In this sentence, we see that the gerund living has become the subject and is would be the verb. The other pieces of this sentence include a prepositional phrase, in Virginia, and an adjective, wonderful, describing the experience of living in Virginia. Now, let's figure out what a past participle adjective is. It's a verb in its past participle form acting as an adjective. With regular verbs, that means it ends in the ed form, just like the simple past tense. But for irregular verbs, it will match the past participle form. However, in the situations we're about to look at, these verbs are not acting as verbs. They are adjectives. Let's look at an example. Some people feel trapped when they are in an MRI machine. If you've ever been in an MRI machine for a diagnostic test, you might relate to this. In this example, people is the subject, feel is the verb, but trapped is the adjective. Even though to trap is a verb, in this sentence, it's acting as an adjective describing how some people feel. If we explore the rest of this sentence, we see it also includes a dependent clause that tells us when they feel trapped, when they are in an MRI machine. Now that we're clear on the difference between a gerund phrase and a past participle phrase, let's check out the dangling modifier situation. A dangling modifier has no obvious subject connecting it to the main idea of the sentence. Think of the word dangling, which means to hang precariously as if it's going to fall because it isn't attached well. That's kind of like what these dangling modifying phrases are doing when they're not properly attached to the sentence. They sometimes appear in the form of a gerund phrase, and sometimes as a past participle adjective phrase. Let's break it down and first look at a dangling modifier with a gerund phrase. This sentence is incorrect. After living in Florida, Virginia has been a welcoming change with its beautiful seasons. Who lived in Florida? Virginia? Perhaps, but we can see in this sentence that Virginia is not a girl's name, but rather the name of the state. Here's a correct sentence expressing the same idea. After living in Florida, I find Virginia a welcoming change with its beautiful seasons. In this sentence, the subject I connects the modifier, after living in Florida, to the main clause. It means that I lived in Florida. Virginia did not live in Florida. Now, let's see how a past participle adjective phrase could become a dangling modifier. After years trapped in my closet, I finally got to wear my beautiful winter coat when I moved to Virginia from Florida. Perhaps you're wondering how long I was trapped in my closet. Well, don't worry, I wasn't. Here's a correct version. After years trapped in my closet, my beautiful winter coat finally made its debut when I moved to Virginia from Florida. I had to add some words to help my sentence make sense, but at least we now know that my coat was trapped, not me. Moving on from dangling modifiers, let's talk about misplaced modifiers. This means exactly what it says, that the modifying phrase is in the wrong place. Here's a basic definition. A modifying phrase whose placement in the sentence creates confusion because it could belong to two different nouns. Let's look at an example. I need a babysitter to take care of my 4-year-old grandson who drives and doesn't drink or smoke. My 4-year-old grandson is not actually that mature that he could drive. Let's try instead. I need a babysitter who drives and doesn't drink or smoke to take care of my 4-year-old grandson. Better. When you avoid dangling modifiers and misplaced modifiers, you create clear academic writing. For more great tips and academic resources, visit the Academic Center for Excellence. We're here to help you.